Yeah, what's up guys? So today we're going to continue our on-hook playlist and we're going to cover the front to blind, your first front to blind. The whole idea here is we're building off of that first playlist that we built where we covered all the fundamentals of unhooked riding, and we're trying to help you go to the next level. And on that note of levels, I want to touch on perceptions. And one thing that I was doing with that first series is I actually had a difficulty scale where we covered how everything on that first playlist was like basically a 1, maybe a 2 on the scale of 1 to 10. And some people took that scale the wrong way, thinking, oh, well, everything's easy for the pros. And actually, the thing about perceptions is, if you perceive something as difficult, it is difficult. If you perceive something objectively, or even delusionally as easy, it's going to be a lot easier for you to accomplish that. And what I mean is, for example, when you look at any sport, for example, with kiteboarding, we have everybody doing the double loops. Nobody could do a double kite loop until somebody did it. Now, everybody who's on that competition level is doing a double kite loop. Why is that? It was a belief. So beliefs are very powerful. So when it comes to this, I'm just trying to get the point across. These are still entry-level tricks. I would even say the front to blind is still, it's an intermediate trick, but it's not an advanced trick, and it's not outside the realm of somebody who is 45, 55 years old even. So it doesn't take a lot of strength, it simply takes a bit of time and skill. So what I'm getting at here with the levels is this is not a trick that's reserved just for pro riders. This is a trick that your average kiteboarder, even your average middle-aged kiteboarder could do on the beach. So coming into, and the reason that a lot of people perceive these things as hard is because we don't break these more advanced tricks down into smaller steps, and people they tend to not build the foundation needed to go to that level. So if you do that front roll video and you've done, 300 front rolls by now, 1,000 front rolls, and you've also done like 300 to 1,000 surface passes, you're going to be in a really good place for this trick. Now, there are a few things that I learned along the way that will help, and we're going to talk about bridging yourself into the front to blind. Unlike all the other front to blind tutorials, I'm going to add an additional drill that has really helped me with all of my next level tricks. And what you're going to do is you're going to do a regular front roll, and you're going to land, and you're going to do a surface pass. And with the kite movement, the trick is to basically do nothing with the kite. So this is a load and pop trick. The kite will stay parked the entire trick somewhere at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, depending on the direction that you're going. And to do this, there's a few things to think about to get your front roll correct. So bear off downwind with good speed, unhook from the kite, and pop a front roll. And with the front roll, you need to look under your shoulder. So if you look over your shoulder, it's going to be a lot more difficult to line this up to land blind. So I want you to look down and under so that you're rolling into that front roll. Now, another thing to think about is let your arms out a little bit after you pop off the water. And that way, halfway through that front roll, I want you to pull the bar down and aggressively towards your lead hip, almost like you're trying to put the bar behind your back in the air. Now, the key step to bridging into this is rather than just going straight for the front to blind, just do a front roll and try to land with that bar practically touching your hip. And as soon as you hit the water, you're going to be riding downwind, and then just do a surface pass, just like you practiced in that previous fundamental video. And what you're going to do is you're going to do this as many times as possible in a wide variety of conditions as possible. So when the wind is light, when the wind is medium, when the wind is strong, just do a simple front roll, land, and do a surface pass. And over time, you'll actually start landing into that surface pass, almost like you're sliding into the blind landing, and you're going to build your muscle memory. And this is going to give you the confidence later on to do this in the air, and it's also going to teach you how to point your toes so that you never catch an edge and you never have a hard crash. I mean, no guarantees you won't get a hard crash, but it's going to save you a lot of hard crashes in the long run. You're going to build that muscle memory, and you're gonna build that confidence. And what'll happen is somewhere, depending on how much you kite, for me, it took about 50 days consistently of just doing front rolls with surface passes, and people would be on the beach like, hey man, what are you doing? That's kind of goofy. And I was like, nope, I know what I'm doing here. I'm building muscle memory. And it's very true. You know, you're not gonna have bragging rights with your friends if you do this drill, but this will help you bridge, and it will teach you and give you the confidence to do a real front to blind. Now, moving on to the next step. After you've done this at least 1,000 times, no exaggeration, it should be feeling pretty good. Your body should almost be begging you to go into the blind position. Like, you really will be out there riding and just feel it. It'll be like, oh man, this feels so good. It'll almost feel more natural to want to rotate blind than actually land into a front roll. And that's when you know you're ready to go for a true front to blind. Now, a few key tips here. You can see in these clips on some of these earlier front to blinds, I'm popping kind of early. I'm not going very high, and I'm keeping things small, and that's a good way to bridge into it. And when you're ready to go for a real front to blind, you want to make sure you just get a good scoop. So scoop the board upwind a little bit more so you get a little bit more height. Tuck your head for that roll. And as you're coming around halfway through, aggressively pull the bar to your lead hip, almost behind your back. And then imagine you're doing that surface pass in the air. And what'll happen is you will literally just land blind. And because you've done that surface pass 1,000 times, that landing is gonna feel so natural. And that's really the trick. Start small, do a bunch of front to blinds with surface passes, make it feel natural, and when you're ready to do your first real front to blind, it should feel extremely comfortable and completely obtainable for you. And over time, you can pop harder, you can go faster, you can get more air. And you can see in these clips that I could definitely be landing a bit more downwind. I'm still going a little bit across to the wind downwind when I land, which it's not the end of the world, but the landing would be a little smoother if I was riding a bit more downwind on the landing here. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions for me on this one, drop them in the comments. Practice this drill, give it a try, let me know how it works. And until next time, this has been Raga.